or leave me and let me be lonely. You won't believe me, but I love you.
Hello, welcome again. Thank you very much for looking at the videos. I hope you looked at the other videos on the site and help me raise awareness of emotional abuse by liking, linking, blogging, posting, passing on, whatever way that you find. Today's a quick one about, well, I don't know, it might be a long one, about the examples really of emotional abuse. I get lots of people emailing me and I try to get back to people. Just a few examples. Here's one from, I've got a little bit of paper up. Here's one from a 20-year-old student living with mum and dad, got an abusive dad. He's increasingly abusive. He was offered psychological medications from the doctor but turned them down. He's allowed him to, or encouraged his son to binge drink with him as a drinking buddy, but he stopped, realising it was horrible. He'll throw a fit and start fights with him and his mother for no reason. He swears insults at us, often fabricating lies. He told me once he was fatter than I'd ever been, telling me I had 3 chins, which was so fictitious that I find it funny in hindsight. Afterwards, he'll apologise wholeheartedly, wording it in a way that deflects responsibility and does not acknowledge the true damage that his actions and words cause. Very common. I'd like to verify what he does emotional abuse. Yes. I try to calmly resolve concerns, but his words quickly turn into cursing and insults. I quieten down and tactfully remove myself from the situation, returning to my room. He tells later on, my words and responses were something along the lines of, when he comes back in and starts again, the boy said, "Oh, it's happened before." It's emotional abuse, and the father quickly begins swearing again in a defensive manner, demands that it's not abuse, and tries to shift the blame onto him, and then becomes hostile later on and comes back in and swearing and F you, and then slams the door and walks out. At the end, this person says, what I'd like to ask, is this truly emotional abuse? After watching one of your videos, I can draw many parallels between your descriptions of abuse and his actions and words. And he also says, I would like to know if you're a trained psychologist or anything. Not that I want to question your credentials, but I'd like to be certain if ever I need to tell him I've asked a psychologist about it and it is emotional abuse. First on that one, I'm not a trained psychologist, I'm just an experienced layperson. See other videos for that. But please don't go to him and try and label anybody as an abusive person. They will never take the label. It's defamation of character in many ways. You can never prove it. It will get you nowhere. So don't try and prove to anybody that they are abusive. Only change your perception and work with yourself. You can't work with them. You can't change it. They will never see it. Who wants to be accepted as abusive? Anyway, but if they are, they'll never see it. So you're wasting your time. Please don't. This one, another one. Who's this? Difficulties with a partner. Brought up by mother and stepdad. Father walked away when she was little. Told a story when she was 15, but tracked him down. Unfortunately, he didn't want to meet with his daughter. Both her mum and stepdad were from abusive families. The stepfather used to beat us with his belt for any reason, called names, and put up with physical and psychological punishment. Partner's background is very different. Mum is very dominant. She loves him greatly, but she was very hostile to the daughter, the partner admires his mother very much, a bit like a queen, a bit too much. Interestingly, she says, this lady who's a victim, I'm the type of person who would avoid conflict at all costs. Most victims would avoid conflict at all costs. I tend to ignore attacks, but when I've had enough, I transform myself into a lioness and there's no way you can win. That's interesting, and often you get blamed for that. So sometimes the victim can be seen, intentionally made to look like the abuser, because you're pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed so much that you... Yeah, it's not pretty. Nobody wants to feel that, and then you feel ever so sorry that you've... and it looks like you're the one with the problem. But you're pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. I often feel like I'm tiptoeing on eggshells. That's a classic phrase for a victim. Things I say are often deformed and used against me. I'm constantly criticised and blamed for everything that goes wrong. I put one of your videos recognising the signs of emotional abuse on my Facebook wall yesterday. He saw it and told me, if that's what you think, you know where the door is. Dangerous thing to do, so yeah, be careful. I no longer, they've been engaged for 8 years, I no longer want to marry him. I've stopped wearing my 8-year-old engagement ring. The lists are endless about the abuse. The argument, a recent argument they had, and the videos have opened my eyes. I felt like I've woken up. He is controlling. After that argument, he's been making some effort to be nice and gentle as he can be. Indeed, he has been very sweet and can be very sweet when he wants to. She also says that she was wanting a child for a long time. He refused. Now that she's breaking off and pulling away, he's going, oh, I want a child now. And she's saying, how interesting. And I can see the pattern. But still, she says, she's starting to see the patterns, but I don't know how to handle this. Should I stay or should I go? That's a classic Clash song. Come on and let me know. That's what people say to me often. They don't say that, but you know. What techniques can I use to deal with it and deal with him? I'm not ready to leave now. The daughter's only young. Very, very difficult. There's another one here. Oh, difficult. I married a man because I loved him. About 6 months after the marriage, he told me he had thoughts about other people. The kids say that when he's gone, he just sits on the computer and ignores us. He'd even put his arm out to knock over the sun when she was out. Says he'll go to parenting classes, counselling classes. Never did. The lady was raped by one of his friends. She felt like that everything was her fault because she got raped, and that she was being and she was told that she was being overdramatic, but she felt she was being overdramatic because she was being told. However, when she pulled away, then he came back to hook her back in, saying that he was thinking about killing himself. And that's when I hear a lot, male or female abusers using that as a hook to pull in their victim. The victim is going to help. Of course they want to help. That's going to get them. She says she feels so low about herself, like it's all her fault. He says it's her fault that she got raped too. And he takes his anger out on her and the kids. She says her husband wrote in a journal that he twisted it around, that she was being... Anyway, it's all convoluted, it's very difficult. Changing stories around, involving the kids, saying one thing to the son that isn't quite true, and he's hearing another from the mother. She says, I'm starting to feel crazy and weak. And then again later, I back up because I can't hurt people on purpose, but I'm really starting to feel crazy. And that's such, the Americans call it crazy making. I think I've said that before in other videos. Crazy making. You question yourself so much that you lose track of being able to keep track of stuff, being able to be logical. It's so illogical, it makes you crazy. And that's the intention. It's very good. It's not very good, but it works very well. Being kind is a good thing, but I'm overly kind, and then I hold everything in and then blow up. I heard about somebody else doing that in this video. So blowing up, again, that's an intentional thing, manipulation, to make you look bad. I let others dictate my life because I'm so scared to hurt someone else. That's sad. That's sad. Okay, slightly more positive one. Starts off with a thank you. I must start by thanking you for putting words and a voice to something that has been so poignant in my life for so long, and has not to date been able to be communicated so eloquently. It's not just what you have said or are saying in your videos, but how you say it as well, that has been so extremely helpful. The what bit really validates something that is so invisible and impossible to get across, let alone put across to others close to you. You only if you experience it do you know what it is. So thank you for doing that. The how bit is that you don't try and blame or perpetrate the act. You simply recognise it, explain it in lay terms, and quite simply state this is not an option. Frank and honest and positive. So I thank you profusely for this. Your videos have given me a lot of understanding in a very short time, so thank you. That's interesting, perhaps more interesting as well. is that this lady has 3 degrees in psychology and related fields. And she surmises that I suppose the message from this is that it doesn't matter how much you know the theory to all of this, you can still be a victim of these kinds of situations. That is very interesting. I've come across quite a lot of that. Intelligent people, educated people falling into patterns that they just can't believe. She also goes on to say, what you said about forgiveness is very true. At the moment, I'm finding it very hard to forgive even the silliest things. I have a strong sense of righteousness. So you might want to go back to one of my videos on that one. And lastly, the self-esteem bit of recognising the importance of now standing up for myself in a non-aggressive way. So actually being able to recognise, oh, this is actually not okay, and now being able to say something with it being heard and understood. She says, I have the right to be cared for and respected. Wow, that's the sort of thing that I'm dealing with, helping to explain. I am here all the time, 24 hours, by virtue of these videos. That's the intention. I've got lots of plans about how to help more, but for the moment, do keep emailing me. See particularly, I think it's the one before this, the video about how to help others. Because if you just say to label somebody abusive, it's not going to work. You need to deal with yourself to change your environment through your perceptions. But abuse is everywhere. It's amazing how prevalent it is, and it's very sad for the effect that it has on the abused people. So I hope that gives more detail, more sharing of the stories. Thank you very much to those people for sharing those stories. I am in conversation with them all. And yeah, let me know your stories. If you want to share them, please share them. If you don't want to share them, but you want to share them with me, do that, and please just say do not share. But I'm very careful with the details that I do give out, so it's non-attributable. Anyway, okay, thanks very much, and I hope that's interesting in many ways, and do let us help spread the awareness of emotional abuse so we can help people break free of their own shackles and their own limitations in terms of being victims of abuse. Alright, many thanks. Bye-bye.
It's my time for just reminiscing, regretting instead of forgetting with somebody else. There'll be no one unless that someone is